What's up, everybody? So today we're going to replace the headlights and the fog lights with LED halos. This is some of the fun stuff I was talking about, stuff that I really needed to do because, as a lot of you know, factory headlights aren't that good. I'll go start the Jeep up here in a second and kick the lights on, put the phone in front of it. That way you can see what these look like, and when we get the new ones in, I'll do the same thing. That way you guys get a comparison on the difference. I'm going to go through step by step how to take the grill off, take the headlights out, take the fog lights out. Now these fog lights, they don't work. This bumper didn't come with the Jeep. It came with just a factory bumper that did not come with fog lights. So I don't actually have the switch or the wiring for these fog lights, but that's not a big deal. We're actually going to tie them in to the marker lights and get those all working. Also, we'll go through how to wire up the LEDs. It won't be that bad. There's a monster at my garage door. Did you hear that? Uh-oh. Probably a bear, something crazy. Alright, hold on a second. Alright, we're gonna find out together. It's a Jimmy Jams. What's up, Jimmy Jams? Don't get in front of the garage door sensor, it'll stop the door. Alright. You throw your cigarette out. You should quit smoking, it's bad for your health. Alright, so back to the Jeep. So yeah, we'll go through step by step how to take the grill out, how to take the headlights off, and wire up fog lights that are not currently wired up. Like I said, those fog lights were just show. There was no reason for them to be there. So we're going to take them out and we're going to put some in that have a reason to be there because they're going to work. Alright, so I'll go ahead and hop in the Jeep, and we'll turn the headlights on, give you guys a show on what they look like now and what they will look like later. Alright, garage is a mess. Oh, Jimmy Jam's going to do it for me. Cool. Okay, so that's what they look like now. Not that bright, right? Hopefully when we put the new ones in, there's high beams. Hopefully when we put the new ones in, they are significantly brighter and it just blurs out the whole screen and you can't see anything. That's what I'm looking for. Hopefully that happens. Also, I did get my, excuse me, James. I did get my inner fenders on, all fancy dancy like, and got the rock lights installed. I was going to do a video on that, but as you can see about how wet the Jeep is, it started raining, and I have a very small garage, not a whole lot of room, so it's really hard for me to try to video anything on the sides. I mean, you guys saw my Pontiac video. It's very cramped in here with a vehicle in here. It's just a single car garage. I do a lot of woodworking, so I've got all kinds of just spare lumber laying all over the place. There's a bunch back there too, but yeah, let's get on with this. Hold on one second and we'll go ahead and pop this grill off. Alright guys, so we popped all the clips out. Now there's several different clips that run up through this grill. Now they look like this. I left one in to show you. It's one of the plastic screw style. They always strip out. They're kind of crappy, but once you get this piece out, then you can just take a flathead screwdriver or even your fingernail and pull it up out of there, like so. Then the bottom of the grill, it just pops off. Alright, so you have these clips right here that hold your grill on at the bottom. Now all you got to do is just give it a little tug. It does kind of feel like you're going to break your grill, but I never have, and I've had this grill off several times. And then you just want to twist and pull your marker light out, and then the grill is free. So now the grill is out of it, and we're going to get started on these headlights here. They are a very small star head, so we'll get the size on that, start taking those out, and I'll be right back. Alright, so the size of that star bit is a TX15. So I'm going to assist by holding the headlight as James takes these out.
Well, maybe. No, I don't think it was some good shit. Should be it.
Alright, so now that that's out, you can pull your little bezel off, because we will need that for the new lights. And inside there is the clip that holds the headlight on, or well, not really holds the headlight on, but let's see if we can't get some light in there. But that clip right there is what powers the light itself. That little red tab right here in the back, you just push that back and then push the clip down and pop the light out. Now that's all the farther you have. You just have this little bit of room right here, just enough to get a couple fingers in, but it should be enough to get it out of there. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug that. Actually, James, let's do this live, or well, not really live, but let's do this so that they can see how it works. So I'll go ahead and push that little red clip back. Alright, so the little red clip is back. See if I can do this with my hands out of the way. We'll go ahead and push it in so you guys see what I'm talking about. So that's in. Hard to do all this with one hand. Oh no, you're fine, you're fine. I was just explaining to them why my hands were always in the way. So after that's out, see this little green spot right here? Did you hear that click? You just push that down and throw your headlight on the bumper. So yeah, that's how it comes out. I mean, it's quick and easy. It's all one assembly. But you can take the bulbs out. Here, James. Take that bulb out of there and just replace the bulb. You don't have to replace the entire housing if you didn't already know that. You can just buy bulbs. Alright, so now that that's out, also one other thing we got to do to replace the fog lights is take this cover right here off. Now there's a clip right here and there's a clip right here, and you can take those two off, and then this whole plastic piece comes off right there, and that gives you perfect access to all the fog lights and all that good stuff. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get that popped off, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, so we got that little shroud removed, and Jimmy Jams there is taking out the fog light. Now I did hit a deer in this Jeep. It didn't really hurt it. It did break the fog light mount for the driver's side. So hopefully the new fog lights don't need it. Hopefully. So it's 2 Phillips head screws per light. 4 per light?
Yep.
You sure?
Yeah. Because I'm on the third one now. I'll start the fourth one.
Okay, so 4. But yeah, this is one of the clips
That's the reason why
for the driver's side. It is broken. So there is the fog light. As you can see, I have no hookup for fog lights at all. So we're going to tie into this. Now the black wire is ground, your center wire is your marker, and your far right wire, the white and green wire there. Let's see if we can get that to focus enough so you can see that little green strip. I didn't get them all out. I just took one out. So anyway, this one is a blinker, center one is marker, black one is ground. The only one we want is the center one and the black one. We're not going to touch this blinker.
Damn, man, there wasn't much left of it.
So here is the brackets for the driver's side. Like I say, I did hit a deer, but that's all I did. Broke that piece of plastic that held the fog light that didn't even have a bulb in it. Didn't hurt my feelings at all. I mean, like I said, these were just in here to make it look pretty. They didn't work. Just for show. Now, the ones that I am going to put in here are going to work, so that will hurt my feelings if I hit a deer and they break. But the brackets for those are metal. I'll go ahead and get the new lights out and show you what they look like. Be right back. Alright guys, so here are the new headlights. These are the LED halos. They're the RGB. They're going to be really awesome in this thing. I can't wait to get them in. There is quite a bit of wiring, but I mean that looks scary, but it's very simple. We'll go through it, and I'll show you step by step how this particular set works. It may be different for every set. I don't think it would be, but it might be. Yeah. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get all this stuff pulled out. We'll get it all laid out neatly so you guys can see what we're looking at. Give me 1 second to get it all strung out here for you. Alright guys, so here is the RGB Rocklight Bluetooth controller for the halos on the headlights and fog lights that I showed you earlier. Now, this red one goes to a positive. The black one here, right there in the center, goes to the ground. And this number 1 and number 2, they wire up to the blinkers so that your fog or your halos can run a blinker. I personally don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't want my headlights to blink as well. So, not going to hook that up. Alright, and then there's 4 of these. Now, these actually plug in to the back of your light. Alright, here's one of the fog lights. It plugs in right there and runs the halo itself. Now, also, on the back of the headlights, it runs the halo itself. So, all this module right here is strictly just the halos. The light itself, your high and low beam, has its own switch. Now, there is an anti-flicker module for it as well. Now we've hooked up everything to one of the headlights so you can see how it works.
Also keeps it showing you a error code on your dash.
Yeah, it'll also keep an error code away. So your wire that runs straight from your headlight plugs straight into this module, and then off the back of the module you have another plug-in that runs to the plug-in that will plug into your factory plug-in. Now, the factory headlights, the female end that slid, or the male end that slid into this female, had a rubber bushing around it that kept this watertight. The new ones do not have those rubber bushings. They're just plastic all the way around. So every single connection is subject for moisture. What I want to do before we button everything up is take some electrical tape and tape this up to try to keep as much moisture as I can out. And
take your factory bushings and put it over top of these and just slide them on there.
yeah, but I only have 2 factory bushings and there's 3 plug-ins per light. I don't have enough bushings. So on this one as well, just because I don't really trust this. What I would like to do, I don't know if it's going to work, is run a zip tie around it and hold it in there and then tape it up, or maybe even tape it up and then zip tie it, just because I don't want it to come apart while I'm driving down the road or vibrate loose or whatever the case may be. So we're gonna go ahead and get one of the lights hooked up. James, if you care to plug one in, and we'll just go ahead and do a test run on the headlight itself, and then we'll do a quick mock-up on this module for that halo. Just a quick mock-up to show you guys how it's going to go, and depending on what the length of the video looks like at that point, we might call this one quits and make this a 2-part video. Alright. Having some technical difficulties.
That's what you get with that market headlights. Say they're not a factor.
Right.
And the clips are not designed.
Well, just go ahead and push it in there as far as it'll go, and we'll give it a quick test run, see what's what with it. Alright, so James is going to go turn on the headlight there, and we're going to see what happens. Oh God, Jesus. Whew. It is very bright. Very, very bright. Holy crap. Now, this is what I was talking about with these plug-ins. Watch this. Just jiggle this wire. That's all it takes right there. So what I'd like to do is run a zip tie first, now that I know that this isn't staying in there securely. Now that's as far in as it wants to go. It doesn't want to go any farther. It won't clip in. It's kind of some of the prices you pay whenever you get aftermarket stuff. By aftermarket, you pay a price for it, and then you pay a price for it when you're trying to hook it up, because the fitment's not always as nice as you would like it to be. But it's no big deal. We'll just run some zip ties on it, hold it in there really tight, and then we'll go ahead and tape it up. So I'm going to get everything ready, and then I'll turn the video back on. Alright guys, so there's the zip tie. Let's get it to focus. There's the zip tie, just holding everything in there good and snug. We'll snip it off right here, and then we're going to wire tape this joint probably down to the wires, just so that it stays tight. I don't want any moisture in there. So we'll go ahead and get it taped up, and I'll show you what it looks like after. Alright guys, so we got it taped up. Also taped up this joint and this joint. Now, after we get this one hooked up, taped up, everything good on it, then we will move on to the fog lights, get everything buttoned up on the fog lights. I'll show you how we're going to do that. If you guys aren't familiar with alligator clips, hopefully this video helps you out with that. But we did test both lights. They both work. So we'll go ahead and get moving on the fog lights, get those hooked up, make sure they work. Then we'll move on to the LED halos, make sure all of that works. Then we will start to put everything back together, and we'll show you some really cool features about these RGB headlights, if you guys didn't already know anything about them. So we're gonna get after this, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so what we're gonna do, how we're gonna wire this up, since we don't have the factory plug-ins on this Jeep for fog lights, we're actually gonna have to cut this connector. I'll probably cut it right in the middle, so I have the option to put these back on when and if I ever want to. And we're gonna splice a wire, well, both wires, into it, and we're gonna run up to our marker light here, and we're gonna just use alligator clips on it so we don't have to cut any of these wires. And then whenever we turn the marker lights on, the fog light should just kick right on with it. So we're gonna go ahead and get these put in, just because even with them mounted, we still have all this room to run any kind of wiring that we need. So James, if you want to do the honors. Yep. We will go ahead and start installing these fog lights. Oh, man, that looks good. That bucket tried to kill me.
Which one? The red one?
The black one. The black one.
Yeah? You just trying to kill me earlier too? That's why I said attack the bucket.
I went to bend down so I could get a shot of the fog light, and I tripped over it and fell into the garage door. That's a good place for that. Alright, so once we get these mounted up, I mean, it's just 4 screws right into the back.
Yeah, that's a little bit easier said than done, buddy.
Right. Put my hand right in front of the camera. Let's see if we can get a shot of what you're doing back there.
I can't even see what I'm doing.
Alright.
There we go. There's one.
Guys, I'm just starting out with this video and things, and trying to make a channel. So I know the quality's kind of really bad right now. I do really enjoy doing this, actually, so
Watch it. I'm gonna probably block the camera off here with my arm.
alright, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out of there. But I do really enjoy doing it, so I'm probably gonna go ahead and buy a GoPro and just make things easier on myself, because I can put a head mount on, and then I don't have to turn the video off and turn it back on. You guys can see exactly what I see all the time. It'd just be, I think, much better video quality. I just think it'd be a lot better all the way around. So yeah, once I don't even really know if they even sell GoPros anymore. I haven't heard anything about GoPro in forever. James, they still sell GoPros?
I think they do. People still use them all the time.
Well, after we get done with this, we're gonna search the Amazon and try to find ourselves a GoPro. So anyway, back on track. Getting sidetracked too much. So James is gonna go ahead and get that one hooked up. I'm gonna put the camera down and get the other side screwed in, ready to go, and then I'll get back with you guys as soon as we get everything put in there, we'll go ahead and cut and splice the wires, do everything that we need to do on that end, and then we'll do the marker light side of things, and then we'll try her out. So I'll be right back. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and splice these in. What I like to do is kind of pigtail it. So we'll splice into one side, and then splice the other side. So that way you end up with two splices on the same wire, and then run them both together. It really helps lock everything in. Then we'll lay it over, run our heat shrink over top of it, we'll shrink it down. Now this side, the actual plug-in side, is a fairly thin wire. I mean, it's probably half as thick as the wire that we're actually going to use to splice into, but it'll be alright. We'll also throw some electrical tape on this end just to keep the joints tight.
Show mine here since it's done.
Yeah.
You can do talking.
Alright, so this side is already, the passenger side is already done. All the heat shrink has already been shrunk and electrical tape has been put on it. Now once we get into the marker light and we put the other ends into the marker light, then we'll run some electrical tape just to bind everything together, and if need be, zip tie everything up so that it's nice and tidy. But that's just gonna have to wait until we get it all put together and we see what we're looking at.
And toss it here, since we showed them that and you're doing video of it buttoned up over here.
Alright guys, so for those of you who aren't familiar, this is an alligator clip. What it does, this metal tab right here, it pushes down into the two wires and creates a circuit between that wire and the wire that you want to splice into without actually cutting them. So here's our marker light. Now what we wanted to do was splice into this center one right here and this black one, and we've already done this side. Hey James, you care to go hit the marker light? Alright, so we've already got everything buttoned up on this side, and as you can see, as soon as you turn the marker light on, the fog light comes on with it. We're getting ready to do this side. It's really nasty and rainy outside, that's why we're in the garage. I really wish that it wasn't, because then we could have a little bit more room. I could back off of it and get a little bit better angles, but we've got to work with what we got. So this headlight's just sitting here. I wanted to get it up out of the way. It's not bolted in or anything. I just wanted it out of the way so I had a clear shot at these wires here. So I'll go ahead and get that buttoned up, and now that you guys saw how we spliced in to the fog light right there, and how we're splicing into the marker light here so that our fog lights work off the switch, we don't have an extra toggle switch floating around. It's all on the regular headlight switch, marker light switch, whatever you want to call it. It's just cleaner that way. I like it better that way, and hopefully it helps you guys out if you want to try to take on a project like this. But we'll go ahead and get all this buttoned up, and then we'll start running our module for our LEDs, or our halos. Everything's LED, what am I saying? Alright guys, so we've got our halo wiring ran. We just kind of followed this. The module is ran up toward the battery. It's not hooked up to the battery at all, but it is ran up there. So right now James is getting all of his stuff tidied up. Everything's pretty well rocking and rolling. So the way these work, hey James, you care to come hold the camera really quick so I can plug this in? It takes 2 hands. Alright, so the way this works, you've got your male and female connector. Figure out which way it's how do I
It's a
explain?
4-prong.
It's keyed as well. If you look right there where my hand is, there's a key that fits into this groove. So it only fits one way. You just gotta get it lined up, and then it just pushes down in there. Push it all the way down to that rubber grommet. That's your seal to keep water and moisture out. And then you'll just twist that up on there, make sure it's good and snug, and that's it. So we'll just tuck that down out of the way, down with all the rest of the headlight wires. Now we're ready to put our bezel on, and this side is done as far as the wiring is concerned. We'll just button up the passenger side, and then we'll wire up the battery. We'll wire up the module to the battery, and we'll give it a test run. So we'll see you here in a minute. Alright guys, so we got the battery all hooked up. Got all the modules hooked up. Now here are the halos. So there's just your regular white halos. They look kind of blue right there. There's red, green. So, see if I can get farther away from it. Try to hit a strobe or something, James. There we go. It kind of just looks like flashers right there. Whoa, holy shit. That's pretty cool. It's the police. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. The color range. You get several different colors. I mean, you can do whatever you want there. Alright, James. Put them on blue. Oh, that strobe's tripping me out. Let me turn off the lights really quick. And try not to die getting back over there. Here, just turn the halo on. That's Jesus. It looks like the police. Alright, change it to blue. Just solid blue. That's pretty cool, huh? Alright, try red. Hey, there's green. Red. Looks great. Alright, let me kick the fog lights on. Well, let me turn the light on. Alright, so just the regular switch. Just turn the fog lights on, or well, the marker lights, and you get fog lights and obviously your markers. And the cool thing about these, I don't know if we can pick it up, the halo, there we go. Alright, change it. It doesn't pick up the strobe very well, James. Well, just change the color so they can see that the halos still change colors even with the lights on. Now we'll go ahead and turn the headlights on. again, just by the regular switch. Everything's wired up to the switch. That way, like I say, I didn't have any extra crap. So, I mean, that's very bright. It doesn't really look that bright in here. Hold on a second, I'll open the garage door and you can see exactly how bright it is. Get all this stuff out from in front of the sensors so the door will open. Garage is such a mess. Alright, so there's headlights, high beams, alright, so everything works. Now we're going to turn the lights off and just play around with the LEDs for a minute. I'm going to turn this garage light off. Now let's play around with the halos. There, we can actually get away from it now. That's pretty nifty. Whoa, Jesus Christ. Let's turn the rock lights on, James. Just turn the halos on white so you can see what you're doing. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn the rock lights on as well. And we'll change the rock lights and all that good stuff to the same color. So I'll turn the video back on in just a second. Alright guys, so here are the rock lights. Leave them green and we'll turn the halos green. Alright, so there's the rock lights. I mean, I'm sure we'd get a lot better effect at night. Or I mean, outside, not in the garage. But yeah, the rock lights are pretty nifty. I like it. So, alright, so now it's green on green. It's really cool. I like it a lot. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and we'll put the grill back in it. And we'll get her dialed in from there. Alright guys, so we got the grill back in it. Everything's looking really nice. Got the hood shut again. So now I'm going to kill the lights so we can really see what everything looks like now that everything's done. It looks great. I like it a lot. She looks so angry. Look at that.